In this video, we'll be looking at some tips and tricks that will make working with facts easier. For instance, how to set settings of several objects at a time, how to copy objects, and also some nice things about output view. Viewing outputs of several objects at a time, sorting the different diagrams, and so forth. As you probably know, settings are done in the property grid down here by first selecting an object and then selecting the setting that you want to change. Some of the settings are more complex and are edited in a separate editor, like this for instance. For convenience, you can select several objects and set their settings at the same time. This can be done by Control and click, like this, and you see that some settings are blank and other ones are shown, and the ones that are blank are different on these objects, selected objects. Another way of selecting several objects is by right click, and you can select all. That will select all objects of that type. So in this case, operations or buffers. And you can also select by dragging a rectangle over the objects you want to select. However, note that if you include links like this, there are no common settings for these objects due to the fact that the links are also selected. So if we deselect these, we can see the settings that are common for operations and buffers. Here, process time for instance, and disturbances. Let's consider a case where you want this operation to be parallel. You want to add two more operations at this spot with the same settings. You could either add two new operations and make the necessary settings on those. But instead, we can copy, but not using the traditional way with Control C and then paste with Control V, because that doesn't work. But you select the object and you hold down Control, you drag and drop. Once again, now we have your two new ones with the same settings. And you just connect them and you're done. So now we're in the output view, and by default you are seeing the output from the model, the throughput, the work in process, and so forth, and also output connected to each variant in the model. That is reached by clicking anywhere on the background in this frame. If you're interested in output data from a specific object, you can click an object and you will get all its output and the values of each replication down here. You can also select several objects by Control click. In this case, you get each object gets a row and the output gets a column. And if you want, you can show the standard deviation by clicking over here. Another way of selecting objects is by right click and select all, and like this you get all operations in the model listed here. In this table you can click and then you can press Ctrl A to select everything and Ctrl C to copy it, and then you can paste it in Excel or some other software if you want to modify or display data in some different way. You also have these different output views. You have the objectives view. Here we have some objectives in this model: maximize throughput, minimize width, and minimize total number of buffers. Throughput, lead time, work in process, produced parts, occupation, and utilization. And since we have a lot of selections in this model, you can see that some of the objects are not working, and that's in this case due to the fact that they are not actively selected in any of these selections. However, they still fail because the failures are not dependent on parts arriving at the object in this case. So you can see that objects are arranged sort of randomly here. So by right clicking you get some options to sort. They are at the moment sorted on working. You could select fail as well, and then they are sorted on the sum of the working portion and the failed portion. More interesting is that you can sort on order in model. That many times that makes a lot of sense. So you will have them sorted left to right, top to bottom. You can see that we have the fast operation within this selection, and then we have the slow operations also present in this selection. You can see here. Here they are. Okay. Followed by the 3 parallel operations here. This simple operation here, and then we have a lot of parallel operations within this different setup choices in this one. You can see here that the names of these objects are shortened, and if you would like to show the full path, you can do that by this option. And you have also the option to exclude the ones that are not active.